Hello and welcome to this show. Every day we bring to you one domain of education in its totality, looking at all aspects of that domain of learning. Yesterday we brought biotechnology. Today we are here with the guru of engineering who would be talking to you about engineering and technology and what does this domain hold for the youngsters of the 21st century, those who are looking forward to a life after COVID. Well, I have the pleasure to tell that I have with me Dr. Amitabh Mukherjee. And Dr. Amitabh has had a corporate life and an academic life, both checkered and eventful. He'll be talking about his life and the possibilities in your life as an engineer. Thank you, Amitabh sir, for being present here today, and welcome to this show that brings to youngsters focuses on different domains of learning and careers. So if you could begin by telling, sir, your own journey as an engineer from the campus where you studied to the corporates where you worked to the campus again where you are a guru. Over to Amitabh sir.
Yeah, thank you. So I have been PhD in the computer science engineering from the electronics and telecommunication engineering department in Jadavpur University. And after that, I was in Jadavpur University in a different positions in the research academics. And then I just moved out from the Jadavpur University to corporate, PricewaterhouseCoopers. And then I was in the principal consultant in the PricewaterhouseCoopers. And then it is going to merge with the Coopers and Lybrand, then PwC. And 2002, it is globally taken by IBM. Then I was in IBM. So in between, I was in a sabbatical 2 years. 1 year, I was in the University of New South Wales as a visiting professor. Then I came back. Again, I moved to KTH, Royal Institute of Technology, Stockholm, as a senior scientist positions. So after 2 years, from the sabbatical from the IBM, again I joined back to IBM. And then I retired from the IBM 2017 October. Then I joined as a director of the Globson Business School. Then after that, I quit Globson Business School. I joined as a professor of computer science engineering department at Adams University, and subsequently I was an associate dean of the computer science School of Engineering and Technology.
Thank you. That gives a big journey. And PricewaterhouseCoopers and IBM, two stalwart companies, one in the consultancy space,
right,
the other in the IT and IT-enabled services space. And also, I must note, your journey in academics from Jadavpur University to Globson to Adams University has also been a very significant journey in the context of Bengal. These are some of the very well-known organizations or institutions of Bengal. So, global corporates and Bengal's best educational institutes, that has been your background, sir. That makes you truly a true blue guru of engineering that you are guiding the youngsters today. I would like to ask you, for my understanding, because every time I anchor a show, I also end up learning a lot of things. So sciences, which is at the root of all of these, all STEM subjects, sciences leading to technology, leading to engineering, how do these compare, overlap, and where are they distinct as well? How do you really compare with traditional sciences, fundamental sciences, engineering and technology?
Yes, very good questions. So I must say, science is basically knowledge of physical and the natural world. And then engineering is come to the place, it is an applications in order to build, design the product. And after that, technology is taken to the as a used product to the users. Now I give an example. So if you look on that, radio communications, it was started in the 1920 or little earlier. That point of time, the only military services used that thing at point of time, and they used to only the communications. That's typically the more or less science, not typically is an applications. And after say 50 years down the line, then we some of the engineers, they develop the product. Is how to develop the product? In order to design and build a product as your cell phone. What is the cell phone you are using right now? And that cell phone is even the early 80s, even the beginning of 90s, that is not a absolutely product. What is the product you have at this point of time? Everybody has the cell phone, even nowadays have the smartphone. So if you look on that, the evolutions from the science to engineering the technology.
Great. So basically a very simple way of understanding, very good, well said, sir. The study of natural sciences, the way things happen, that science.
Right.
When you apply that knowledge in a particular context to create a particular product or service, that's engineering.
Right.
And the technology that you use in creating that product, when you take that technology to the consumer, that's technology.
Right.
Right? Broadly, that's what you have said. Thank you very much for that. The philosophy of engineering education, or engineering as a field, education comes later, engineering as an application, what's the philosophy you would say? What would you say in one line?
Yeah, so that is if you go look on the 1325, that is if you look on the etymology, that is an engineer. That is, engineer is nothing but is basically the run the engine. Now from that point of time, you start the engineering. From that is the electrical engineering is going to start. It's a mechanical engineering. They stop talking about this is a catapult. There's a mechanical engineering in the start with that. So typically that's lever, pulleys, and all those things is basically the basic things in the engineering. So even the early 50s, if you look on that, there is three main subjects is taught into the Indian university, even all world in institutes. So like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and civil engineering. If you go further down, say the beginning of the 60s and last century, now chemical engineering come into the place, then metallurgy engineering come into the place. And further, in the beginning of the 70s, the electrical engineering is a move out from which become to two departments, the electronics and communication engineering. So early 20s, then electronics department even segregated between the three more departments, that is the electronics engineering department, computer science department, computer science engineering department, and instrumentation engineering. So yeah, that is one hand. Other hand, if you look on that, civil engineering even the divided in many other areas, like areas, if construction engineering, right. Even the mechanical engineering, even that's typically the key, absolutely the pillar of the engineering studies the mechanical engineering. The mechanical engineering is again move out from the automobile engineering and say design engineering. So many other branches really branch out from one particular areas to that other areas. Even if you look on the ECs, electronics and communication engineering, so that department also gives us different kind of the specializations. So depending upon the how you look on the whole engineering. So engineering is a typically application. On the other hand, if you look on that, science is really developed day by day. Even the 20th century, the big science evolution, invention is happened. That is just like from the Einstein to the Voyager Penrose, even the Stephen Hawking. That is that they can give the basic construction of the engineering, So science give a whole basis of the engineering so that you can design, you can develop, and you can make into the product. Then when it is in the place, then it is absolutely business as usual, is a technology. This is a total evolution.
Very good. Well, you have actually given the evolution of engineering as a whole. So science is at the root,
right.
At the foundation, the base. So development of sciences, its fundamental sciences, have also led to development of applications, and that is the application side is the engineering. When you apply the scientific principles, practices, and concepts to develop products and services for the service of mankind, we actually bring in engineering, and then we take it to commercial use, and we let people understand the technology and make use of it. That leads to technology.
Right.
One of the major influences on engineering and technology in this last 50 years has been computing, and your area, your domain, computer science, computing, the ability to compute. Can you also talk about the impact of computing and its growth on engineering today?
Yeah, they're very good questions. So, if you look on that computer science and engineering, so most of the subject is coming from the different branches, typically electronics branches, physics branches, and the mathematics branches. In computer science engineering, the two subjects, the per se can say it is my subjects, say operating systems, then and say computer organizations. Those are the subjects, typically from the core computer science engineering subject. Other subjects evolved from the sciences, evolved from the other branches of the engineering, so the electronics and electrical engineering. So day by day, if you look on that, then again one area is carved out from the computer science engineering, the IT engineering, so early last decade of the last centuries, and the beginning of these centuries, IT is another branch carved out from the computer science engineering. So nowadays, again the IT is most of the cases we looked on that IT again merge into the computer science engineering department. Very few university or institute IT engineering per se is available.
How do you differentiate between computer science, information technology, and information technology enabled services? I mean, they are very related, yet there is a distinct difference. Could you speak on that a bit?
Yeah. So if you talked about the computer science engineering, I believe so that is a more higher degree of the work. If you go a little bit down, I am not saying that down in a sense, that is in per se that the knowledge. So that is the IT engineering is typically, if you have the knowledge, but you have the more applications oriented, that you can use into the IT. IT enabled services typically the day-to-day by the back office activities. Even IT engineering more or less is a back office activities. Also some of the cases is a product development kind of the activities. A computer science engineering, so that is if you look on that, the new areas is evolved last say 10 years, 15 years. So that is typically in the AI and machine learning application of the AI machine learning applications, say data science, the cyber security, right, and blockchain. So many areas are evolved, and many industries are trying to build their capability, and they can work on that particular direction. Nice. And also they are working on how to build the applications and those areas. That's a major things. And so if you look on that, there is a major shift from even in the beginning of this century IT, and now again back to the shift to the computer science engineering, because you have to have the knowledge of those emerging areas, so that you means the student community, so that make yourself developed as an engineer and to edge out into the industry 4.0.
Great. That's important, industry 4.0. That's another concept that you have. Just could you say industry 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 and 4.0, how are they different? Quickly.
Yeah, so industry 1.0, I believe that's industrial revolutions.
Right. After
the industrial revolutions, then if you looked on that is it's long way to go. After that, industry 2.0 is the beginning of the 20th century, and still 20th century, and then big computer, that is a mainframe computer is coming into the pictures, and that is the transitions between the 2.0 and 2.5, I must say. And 3, and when the personal computer is emerged into the field, that you can talking about even just from the hardware side, even you can talking about the software side, even the some of all the databases, and kind of the 4G languages is evolved, then you can call the industry 3.0. So the beginning of this century, again there's small devices we call the sensors, that is the Internet of the Things IoT devices into the market, into pictures. Then we can move into the industry 4.0. So most of the applications are based on those devices.
So basically IoT and AI are the starting points of industry 4.0?
Yes, to some extent, very broadly we can say the IoT and the AI application of the machine learning and applications of the different branches of those things. Even the other engineering areas, typically the mechanical, electrical, civil, and electronics communication engineering per se, they can really reorient it among themselves around the Industry 4.0.
So, in the last 30-40 years, evolution of industries have evolved from mainframe computing to personal computing to coming into IoT, small devices, and also artificial intelligence. It has actually evolved quite strongly.
Right.
Why in the last 7-8 years we find a decline in interest in engineering education in that case? I mean, there has been apparently some decline. I mean, there was a time when engineering education spread in this country like wildfire. So if you remember 80s, 90s, you know, it came in a big way. But in the last 10-15 years after this new century started, there has been some perceptive decline also. What explains that?
Yeah, so I can step back a little. Say, just end of the last century and beginning of this century, if you know about that, the dot-com company.
Right, dot-com bust, yeah.
Dot-com company, this is number one. And also that is the year 2000. That is so people are very scared about that. That is that they most of the applications running on the banking applications, still banking applications running on the COBOL that point of time. Many few these generations really know about the COBOL. So even the US, many banking industries is running on the COBOL, applications running on the COBOL. But those applications running on the COBOL, because there is no documentation is over there, they're very difficult to replace those applications as well. So then I come to your points. So if you look on that, is a dot-com, that is now engineering is really that boom that point of time. Many industries just hire the COBOL engineering, and absolutely that point of new technology is a dot-com. So they can working on the web. They can just web is just into the pictures, web into the pictures, and then they can working on the e-commerce. That is a very important point. E-commerce. So people have experience, have a knowledge on that. They really put into that companies. After the burst, that is many engineers is really the jobless. I remember that point of time I was in PwC, and so that is many people are the jobless. This is not really hit to the India. It's globally hit to the globally is hit. So again, I just come to that. Then after that, it takes another 2 years time to get back to the normal positions. Then subsequently, if you look on that, 2008, 9, 10, 11, or 9, 10, 11 rather, there's absolute global recessions. There's many people just lost their jobs. I remember that is even the IBM, it's a big IBM office. Absolutely, absolutely the people less. There is no man over there. They can just sold, or they have the lease. This company just they can get rid of those lease company. Why? That is now the job is really in the scare. That because the market is so bad. If you look on this 11, 12, again back to the normal positions. Then all the big companies, they're hiring, even the good number of students. I give another good example. Before 1999, 2000, even 2000, students get the job in the third year in the big companies. Yeah, TCS, IBM, even PwC give the job in the third year. Even before the fourth year, they can took the students from the third year students. Right. Even it has happened to the 2005-06. Again, it happened to the say 11, 12. But point is, always you have the peak and you have the down. So that doesn't mean that is you are losing to the in particular engineering areas. That doesn't mean that is the engineering itself loses its ground.
Right. So its question is basically an industrial cycle.
Yes,
it has nothing to do with the domain or the function of engineering. And you're looking towards a new cycle now, post-COVID, where the focus is more on digital technologies and where the focus is largely on running businesses and operations from remote, and there will be a wave of artificial intelligence use, machine learning use, wave of IoT use, wave of digital technology. So you're seeing a new wave coming in engineering and its education?
Yes, it is. It is started from the, so again I just back to the little bit early to this century. So AI, even when our early career, that is when the people are working on the, I be talking about the mid 80s, and then one of the people was working on the AI that point of time. So we can call that they are elite people, elite research at that point of time. They are working on the AI. But
AI, artificial intelligence, which brings in a lot of value in the operations that we do by bringing in large data and creating faster decisions. So yes, sir, you are talking on AI.
Yeah. So then is the beginning of the 2090. That then AI is not found that too many applications, that then AI is little loses interest. So after 2005, when the devices is, that is a sensor that we call the devices, sensor, small devices, sensors, is really in the place. Sensors is built, it can sense, it can communicate, it can send the data. Then people are starting looking on, yes, that's a very nice small devices, very cheap devices, so that
including the smartphone.
Even as a smartphone, is coming out. Then you see basically is the application of the smartphone. Smartphone is another example of the IoT devices. The smartphone itself. So many devices into the place. Then people are thinking about so that again so many data are there. If the so many data are there, then how to use the data? Again, people start working on the AI. That point of time, AI and machine learning is not so much get the ground because the minimum number of the data and the data is available into the marketplace. Then people are getting the more data. If you really good into the AI and ML, but you do not have the data, you cannot run any applications. So major thing is that if you really good into the AI or good in the ML, but prerequisite is that you have to have the data and the images into the place, otherwise you cannot do anything about that. So the smart devices or Internet of the Things, IoTs, give that kind of the feed to the engineering community per se, all the engineering community per se, not in the computer science, not another science, the engineering community per se. So that those applications of those things. So that is now. That's why I talking about industry move from 3.0 to the 4.0.
Right.
So if you have that expertise, the different branches of these things, even from across the department, across the disciplines, then you have to get the real edge into the industry. So
right.
Hey, welcome to Aspirants. My research is on my way. I am very much proud to be a part of Adamas University.
Cricket is my passion and I am proud to be a part of Adamas University.
I believe.
Hi, I'm Debosmita Biswas.
This is Kunal Kanti Maiti.
I'm Srijoni Paul. This college has given me placement in one of the best companies in US staffing, which is Iconma. I am proud to be a part of Adamas University.
A top-class hands-on engineering and technology education with high emphasis on soft skills, emotional intelligence, artificial intelligence learning. The Adamas School of Engineering and Technology is a trailblazing institute. It integrates learning in the classroom with the laboratory, workshops, and the factories or the corporate offices. It is also associated with several universities in the world.
So that's a great context of science, engineering and technology and its evolution from industry 1.0 to 4.0, and how the interest in engineering education has also gone through ups and lows, and why is it connected to the industrial cycles as well, or economic cycles as well. Very well explained the entire context. Coming to our context of education that you are doing just now in Adamas. So the point that I would like to ask is that initially Adamas University started as an education of a standalone engineering school and then evolved into university. So could you talk about that journey? Why did it start as a standalone school and how it has evolved into university, and what are the benefits of coming inside university of Adamas, if you could speak on that?
Yeah, they're good questions. So now in AIT under the university, under the Macaut, that is not a typical institute, an engineering institute per se, and it is not in the under the Macaut University. So after the last 2 years, AIT is merged into the Adamas University. So no more AIT is there. In Adamas University, absolutely self-contained, full-fledged university. It has the capabilities, or the build the capability last 5 years, and also we are building our capabilities in the marketplace. Even the eastern region is really the even the engineering discipline per se is absolutely competing with any state universities, even any NITs. So in terms of the courses we offered, in terms of the faculties we have, in terms of what are the research we are going to perceive and we have to working on.
So if you could dwell on these points. You said the courses and the programs that you bring in, the departments that you have, the faculty that you have at the moment, and in terms of the infrastructure of the university. These explain to an extent what are the departments, which are the programs, what quality of intellectual capital of faculty, and what sort of infrastructure. If you could dwell on this.
Yeah, thank you. So if you look on that, again I am talking about the evolution. Even in the educations has the evolutions. So in my beginning of my life, that is, we are only very much happy with the typical regular program or regular degree, that is a computer science engineering or electronics communication engineering or electrical engineering, mechanical, civil, and chemical, whatever. I don't have the chemical, but this is the five departments. We are happy with that. So now we means that Adamas University feel the pulse of the market. I believe absolutely Adamas University at par with the industry 4.0. They can perceive what is coming out and what should be the program should be offered to the students, so that students can build their careers through the Adamas University upon the different programs taken by the different discipline of the SOET, School of Engineering and Technology. Say, I would start from the computer science engineering. This year, we are going to offer 3 different specializations. So we call that is honors. Now regular degree, absolutely you cannot compete with the industry 4.0, but you cannot not edge into the Industry 4.0, so that we perceive these things. That's why we act very fast. So this year we are going to offer in honors in the computer science engineering for 3 different areas: artificial engineering, artificial intelligence and the machine learning, AI and ML in short, cyber security and forensics and one honors areas, and and blockchain is other areas. This is from the computer science engineering sides. And also you have to have the one ideas. If you have the regular degree, I mean that there is a vanilla degree in the electronics, computer science, civil and anything, you have to have the one more diploma in the management, that is a 11 months activities. And also you can do the minor in the different areas, say minor into the, if you are in the electrical engineering or EC, you can minor in the computer science, that you have get an edge into the service industry. Also you can, also now biology is a really biotechnology really in the coming up, is a booming up in the industry areas. People are working on, many industries are working on, even service industry, product engineering. So I just come to the point later. So that is, if you have any regular degree in any particular branch, computer science, electronics, civil, mechanical, you have to have the minor into biotechnology. This is the one branch from the CSC side. If you look on that ECE side, we can give it 2 different areas. One is the IoT and robotics and the embedded systems.
Electronics and communications.
Electronic communications. And electrical engineering, we are offering the sustainable energy. Sustainable energy is nothing but is a sustainable, that is you talking about the whatever the alternative energy we are talking about. That is, we have to the specialization that areas. In mechanical engineering, we have to have the design engineering. So that means that if you have the mechanical engineering, if you honors in your design engineering, you really make your presence into any particular design companies, that is even the automobile engineering companies or any manufacturing industry companies, where the mechanical engineering is really a headway. And civil engineering also we can give in the smart city infrastructure. You know that India governments put in a lot of money into the smart city. So that is now we are create our student in the specialization in the smart city, specializations in the civil engineering. That is
all the departments that you have under engineering, whether it's computer science, civil, mechanical, electrical and electronics and communication, in every one you have added some value added courses or value added honors, whether it's mechanical for that in that design engineering, whether it's civil to smart city, whether it's electronics and communication, there is IoT, and for computer science you have AI, ML or cyber security, and what are the other one?
So the diploma in the management,
yes, diploma in management with any of these courses.
Any course.
So a lot of value additions you have brought in to make engineering education even more useful, productive in the industry and attractive to students. Great idea. You are not depending on vanilla engineering education that the world has seen, that the country has seen so long.
Right.
Great. It's a great contribution. What sort of human resource or intellectual capital you have in the university in all these departments, and what sort of infrastructure to teach all these regular and vanilla and the specialized? What sort of infrastructure you have?
So most of the labs is basically equipped with the present day technology. Also we are developing the lab in some extent to cope up with this kind of the honors subject. So that is why we have the university has a good budget on that, and also that budget is sanctions. We are in now is the time of the COVID, so that's why we are not working on that. So after the lockdown, we started building that particular departments more equipped with this kind of the subject, and also the labs we have, and also you can develop the lab. So that in the net we are really equipped with this particular honors course we are going to offer, that really in a program wise, and taught by the good number of what are the professors we have. That professors are really capable of doing that, and also we can build our build not just augment our laboratory and in a great extent, so that our students, our new students who are going to join, they can work on the absolutely industry driven project in those particular areas we talked about. Apart from those things, I can add one more thing. We also have the BCA course. In the BCA course, we have to offer, again we are not going to offer the vanilla BCA. We have to offer in the BCA with the specialization in the gaming and animation, and also the BCA with fintech, stock market, and the insurance. And also we can offer you the 3 years BSc course in computer science.
Great. How would you differentiate between BTech computer science, BCA computer application, and BSc computer science?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Also, we can look on the all type of the students. That is all type of the students. Some point of time, the students is not eligible from the computer science, but they are really
BTech, they're not eligible for BTech.
BTech. So or they might be more interested in the job. So that is a quickly they can do some of the degree in the BSc computer science, and also they have, when the BSc in the computer science, they have the opportunity to go to the masters in the MCA or the MSc, also go for these things, and BCA is very quickly boot in the job market, job in the market.
For BCA, science background is important?
Science, and even the mathematics have, even the commerce guys, students can be eligible.
Commerce can come?
Commerce can come with the class 12 mathematics.
Class 12 maths, okay, great. So, you talk about the intellectual capital. What sort of faculty you have and what sort of infrastructure you have?
So,
courses are well developed.
So, the infrastructure I already just spoke about. That is what are the infrastructure right now is really we can cope up with
some of the machines you talk about.
So, yeah, some of the machine, that is some of the if we are talking about the new honors courses we are going to offer, that we have to build our the laboratory in that extent, so that those are the projects we can going to offer to the students. They are really capable of doing that. We have the budget. University approved the budget.
And current infrastructure that you have?
Current infrastructure, we have all laboratories, the electronics laboratories is well equipped with the IoT kind of the things doing that. Mechanical engineering is also there. Our central workshops is mechanical central workshops is a key things in our university. Right. Even any other departments can work on in workshops. And our electrical engineering lab is also very well equipped. Even though they can just build some of the capability in sustainable energy. And civil engineering, whatever the infrastructure we have, we are really work on that, but we have to augment some of the laboratories. Yeah. And also I can miss one thing. This year we have to offer to the 4 years degree in the biomedical engineering.
Right, that's the newest thing.
Biomedical
engineering, I think perhaps the first time in Northeast India.
Yes.
If you could speak on that, that's the latest department under engineering school.
Yeah. Yes. So that is now it is offered from the School of Biotechnology, but it's run by the School of Engineering and Technology.
So it's a joint interdisciplinary
things. Because if you look on that, the syllabus is developed in such a way that if you know the computer science, and if you know the electronics engineering, also you know the biotechnology, anatomy, physiology, and all those things. This syllabus is developed aligned with the Johns Hopkins and the Sunny Poly in Albany. Right. So that is we collaborate with those things. We develop this particular syllabus. So we can offer the different specializations into the 4 specializations into the biotechnologies. Similarly, we talked about the bioinformatics. Also, we can talk about the cellular medicines, and those are the things. Is really the specialized paper, specializations paper that's offered into the either 3rd year and 4th year. And so, I can also just miss out 4 key things in our whole engineering department. That is, we are going to offer the 3 capstone projects. 3 capstones project is basically start with the autonomous electrical vehicle, aerial robotics, smart city infrastructure. When students get into that, students will work on the semester 5 semester, they working on the hands-on projects,
Right.
3 different areas. And also students build their humility. So that is why we have to have the 1 credit, that is the Adamus Foundations, or we can call the popularly called the CSR activities. After the second year, they have to go back to the community, and they can work with the community 1 month. Like,
So capstone projects are live project,
yeah,
whether it's smart city related or any other, and alongside CSR project, which is focused on community outreach, fabulous additions and additional values, contributions to this. Do you have a focus on entrepreneurship, personal development, and career development as well? What sort of activities have you?
yes, that's a very good question. So I can in the last year we have to start it with the emotional quotients course,
EQ,
that
EQ.
EQ course.
Right.
So we in short we can call the EQ. That is even that is also the 5 semesters over the 1 credit. In particular curriculum, we covered in the design technology, design thinking, and also design ideations that we have to include it into that particular areas. Also, we can use one another important subject we offer in all the students and all disciplines, fundamental of the design. That's a very interesting. This is not typical engineering design, but if I can talking about you have a cell phone, how the cell phone look likes. That is coming from the fundamental of the design. That should be coming out from these particular courses. And also another things that is from our Vice Chancellor, and also that our Chancellor is conceptualizes some of the things, and then we can implement across the department. That is a inter-school project.
Project, yes.
Inter-school
Multiple schools participating in one mega project.
mega project.
Whereas there is engineering part, there is a legal part, there could be scientific, there
Even
could be
the media.
communication,
Even the media.
all together. Well, that's a great idea.
Great idea. So that is a 3 credit course. The students will start with the second year. That is the 3rd semester. They will work on that. That is a 3 credit course. So if you look on that, we are really move out from the more on the project driven.
Right. Outcome driven, project driven.
Rather
than just learning it only for the sake of learning.
And if we are talking about the pedagogy, that is now we are going to start with the blended training. So what we could do, we developed some of the videos, and then videos is put into our repository. You know, the TCS Ion.
Yes.
So that
Your learning management system.
Learning management systems, so that students can, if some of the students mix the class, they can just download the particular video and they can understand what are they taught into the class. They can learn from those
It's a
things.
great.
A top-class hands-on engineering and technology education with high emphasis on soft skills, emotional intelligence, artificial intelligence learning, the Adamas School of Engineering and Technology is a trailblazing institute. It integrates learning in the classroom with the laboratory, workshops, and the factories or the corporate offices. It is also associated with several universities in the world.
ভালো রোজগার, কাজের স্বীকৃতি, স্বপ্নের চাকরি, এগুলোর জন্য কি শুধুই কঠোর পরিশ্রম যথেষ্ট? না, এটা পড়াশোনা এবং প্রফেশনাল ট্রেনিং এর একটা কম্বিনেশন। তাই যে এমন একটি কলেজ বা ইউনিভার্সিটি যেটা এই দুটোরই গ্যারান্টি দেয়, যেমন অ্যাডামাস ইউনিভার্সিটি। এখানে ছাত্ররা শুধু পরীক্ষায় দারুণ নম্বরই নয়, সঙ্গে পায় দুর্দান্ত প্লেসমেন্ট এবং কর্মজীবনের প্রয়োজনীয় দক্ষতা। তাই আজই নিজেকে রেজিস্টার করো অ্যাডামাস ইউনিভার্সিটির অ্যাডমিশন টেস্টে, আর এগিয়ে যাও একটা উজ্জ্বল ভবিষ্যতের দিকে।
Modern technology integration, integrating video and creating a learning management system, keeping in a repository of knowledge so that people can download and utilize and learn that even if they have missed out a class. Also talking of I really appreciate the facts of bringing in emotional quotient, professional development, career development as a component of education, interdisciplinarity, working with other schools to develop joint projects, and also looking at entrepreneurship skills and communication skills, which are very necessary for the engineers of tomorrow. It's not just about learning technologies or learning the science behind technologies, it's also about communicating technologies to the target audiences and making business out of it, monetizing technology, monetizing engineering. That's also important today in this modern competitive world where productivity and outcome is the core factor. So the outcome based education that you talked about, which is project based, rather than just learning based,
Right.
rather than just information, it's more of projects and application, is a great innovation that you have been doing in the School of Engineering. I would like to know about your consulting, research and other activities, and where do these students, after becoming engineers, after 4 or 5 years of education, go to, what sort of work they do, if you could talk on that.
Yeah. So, it is a research is the typically integral part of those things. Even the entrepreneurship. So, that is basically the most of the engineers. That's why we can the diploma in the management, they give the students some of the ideas how to run these particular organizations. Even if it's their own organization, if they can build these organizations as a whole. And in the current scenarios, we can really focus on that. That is, we have the two courses we're talking about, the design thinking and the design ideations. And design ideations, that is leads to the entrepreneurships. That is leads to the entrepreneurships. Also, you have, or the students have, that is a multidisciplinary projects. Also, that is a capstone projects. What are the courses they can to be taught into the class. These particular courses have their own projects, that they have the project base, not typically the assignment. Also, we can go with some of the project which assigned to the students at the end of the day or end of the week, they can submit the project. So, that we have to move from that is another ESP from the engineering school, that is a project based learning. So, that is every subject would have the small projects, so that in place of the assignment, we can go the small projects, that we can do that. And research, that is, we have to have the two interdisciplinary research center already in the place. One is the center of the biocomputing, another is the center of the waste management. Center of the biocomputing is typically working with the biotechnology, pharmacy, chemistry. We have been working on
very close to bioinformatics.
Bioinformatics, yes, it is
close to
that is a combinations of the all department, even the chemistry in the place, even the pharmacy in the place. Because if I take if I talked about the say COVID, you were talking about the COVID. It is basically is a genome, some of the things genome. And how to analyze these particular things. That is now you have to have that data in the place, that you have to use some of the machine learning technique. Then you have to work on that. After that, there's some of the sequence in the place, then the biotechnology is working on that, yes, it is the right sequence. If it is the right sequence, then it is moved to the chemistry. Chemistry people are synthesize it. If it is good, fair enough. If it's not good, again we go back to the blackboard. Then we can start working on that based on the data. This is the typical project we have to develop in the center of the biotechnology, and also in the waste management center. They have been working in the other university, collaborative university. Also, there is some industry in the collaboration with that. They will come out with some product. So, that is another interesting area of the research, and many professors. That is now what I could do. That is now our Vice Chancellor, Professor Jha, is talking about the full focus on the research. Yes, so that's why we from the School of Engineering and Technology give one kind of the target to all the professors, faculty members. They have to have their own research project, and they have to publish the papers at least 2 in a year. So in this way, they have been working on that. So I'm pretty sure about that. Now what are the research we have been working on that, we really augment and more, multiple type.
Great, very interesting, and the overview that you've given. The last area that we now come in, after 5 years of learning engineering, technology, entrepreneurship, basics of management, personality development, communication skills, emotional intelligence, and capstone projects of interdisciplinary projects and all, CSR, corporate social responsibility, getting into newer areas, as you said, on smart city or many other areas like AI/ML or cyber security and forensics and all. After doing this entire domain for over 5 years, where does the student go? What are the various corporate, consulting, entrepreneurial and academic research areas that they normally go into? I know there is a Center for Career Development Cell which looks into their next movement, I am aware. But as the Associate Dean, you must be aware of the overview of where they are going. If you could speak a few minutes on that.
Yeah, a very good question. I believe students should know about that. When students step into the university, I believe there's really the key. They have the many ideas about that. They have the many buzzwords. They just know about that, but they don't know what they are going to do. The first semester, they are really they're listening many words, many buzzwords, many things, listening from their seniors, even from their families, their family friends, and the elder brothers, elder sisters, all those things. But when they are into the second year and third year, the students can decide what the areas they will going to do. In our whole programs, based on the students' capability, students' interest, they can guide with us. That we have the own mentorships, mentor program, mentor-mentee program, mentor-mentees programs. The mentors really guide the students. Yes, you are really good into the entrepreneur, that you have to build a particular company, you can go with these areas, if you look on that. If you're really good into the service industry, then or even any product industries, even depending upon the core industries, even some of the students really interested in the core industries, even there is so much emerge of the service industries. Even we found out that many students really interested to go into the core industries as well. So depending upon the student interest, student inclinations, that's through the mentors, mentees come to the mentors, mentors help them what are the right path they will to choose into their life. That way we have to do that.
And what are the types of companies that go to normally, placed or unplaced?
So it depends on, so if you are the computer science engineering, that is most of the cases we can look on the service industries. Also some of the students is the consulting companies, also some of the companies are product companies also. And even the electronics companies, more of the service industries, also the product companies.
Even examples you can give?
So even I can give some, this year some of the students go to the IBM, even the TCS, even the Infosys, they get into that, even some of the students. And the bigger companies are now stepping into our university. With the help of the CDCs, also with the help of the CDC is really doing a great job. So they are really
Capgemini had come. Genpact had come.
They liaison with the many big companies, even within the India, and they are really being some of the big companies. Also, some of the manufacturing companies they are building, been in, just like the Philips, Siemens, something like that.
Siemens has come, yes.
Siemens has come.
Yes.
So those are the companies are there, and depending on construction companies, Sapurji, Palunjis, and all those things.
Sapurji had come,
right.
L&T had come.
L&T had come, yes. L&T has come. So I believe so more and more the universities are more is maturing. So that is we are moving for the 5th year to 6th year. That is we are created a very value to the marketplace in terms of the quality of the students we can put in, quality of the programs we can offer to the students, and quality of the companies are coming to the campus. So those, if you combine these three together, I believe students have the very good prospects. They can get admitted into the
So these students who are coming to you, for example, in 2020, or even later, or even earlier who had come, what sort of skills, that's the last message, what sort of skills and mindset are you looking in them? So what is the message for youngsters that these are the skills that you should have when you come over to Adams University to become an engineer?
Yeah, first of all, they should have the ask questions.
Yes.
They can
Curiosity.
ask questions. They cannot accept anything. They have to challenge everything. This is a number one. They should have the humility. Number two, as a human being, they should have humility. They should have the many things can be done through the common sense. There is a common sense. The common sense should be there, and then use the common sense. And fourth, they should. I've been talking about they should know little bit good into the mathematics. If you really the good in mathematics, if one understands any branch in the engineering.
So that was Professor Dr. Amitabh Mukherjee, the Associate Dean of the School of Engineering and Technology, Adams University, Kolkata. Someone who has had the background of PhD from Jadavpur University, working in Jadavpur University as a faculty, working in PwC, right?
PwC
and IBM, and then working in Globsin Engineering Technology Institute, and now in Adams University's School of Engineering and Technology. The background and the way he explained the evolution of Industry 1.0 to 4.0, and how engineering as the application of basic sciences and their commercial technological innovations as well. All of these evolved over these four various stages, or what should I say, contexts of industrial growth. He has also brought in the vanilla engineering courses in various fields: mechanical, civil, electrical, computer science, electronics and communications, and now coming up with biomedical engineering, 6th department. How in each of these, the biomedical itself is in a specialized area, the other 5, how value additions are being brought in through various additional courses, whether it's AI, ML or cyber security and forensics or blockchain in case of computer science and IT, whether it's smart city project in case of civil engineering, and whether it's engineering drawing or design in case of mechanical engineering, and design thinking and design ideation there, and whether it's in electrical, in renewable and sustainable energy areas. These are value additions, new honors courses brought in. And very interestingly, along with a BTech degree, he has brought in a diploma in management, which can go along, because a large number of engineering students later on get into management or MBA education. They can have a flavor of that even when they are becoming engineers. And it's found that many engineering students, learners, are not great in communication. So they have brought in communication, emotional quotient, extracurricular activities, team building and group activities, and professional development and career building skills. All of these together as well as an add-on. And to bring in this mind of interdisciplinarity, there are capstone projects which multiple schools can come together and do. And there are also capstone project of a key project which they can carry forward from the 2nd semester onwards till the 6th semester. These are fabulous, or 8th semester rather. These are fabulous ideas that have been brought in to value add to the traditional vanilla engineering courses that we have been seeing. And he looks into that era post-COVID, when digital technologies, use of artificial intelligence and machine learning, distance working, operating from distance, and many other things. And particularly he brought in this issue of the closeness with bio and immunity and those areas, and sustainable energy. These are the things that will become very significant in the post-COVID era. And therefore, the learning that the youngsters get here would be very relevant to that era. Thank you, Professor Mukherjee, for giving a huge overview of the learning of sciences, engineering, technology through the ages, through the decades, coming to the modern era where IoT, AI, ML, cyber security and all these sustainable energy and smart city and all this becoming very, very significant, and becoming the core sort of functions and domains which will determine engineering and technology of tomorrow. This is indeed a school which is futuristic, which looks into the world tomorrow for training today and does not believe in syllabus yesterday to train today. This is an university and a school I really appreciate, which is truly 21st century oriented. Thank you, and with that we bring this session to an end. Namaskar.